fourth and final round of the ARB Australian Off-Road Racing Series, the Teagle Excavations ARB Pines Enduro. South Australia's Millicent, the host, 400 punishing kilometres lay in readiness. This, one of the country's most iconic events. A standout feature here, and what the crews come from afar to experience, is the ability to race super close. Multi-times national champion Mark Burrows, a big fan.
This is certainly one that I try not to miss, and I haven't missed for a lot of years, I don't think. Pink Desert Race and Hines are the first on the agenda, and then whatever else I can fit around. But it's a great event. It's one race where you can come and race wheel to wheel with all the cars, no dust, perfect conditions. A little bit of rain doesn't bother because it's loamy, sandy country. No, it's good fun.
Another strong field confirming the commitment teams across the nation have to this awesome series. Event director Ash Oldacre extremely pleased with the outcome.
The series has achieved everything we set out to achieve from the start. Go back to the basics, 4 iconic events, back to family friendly, just general relaxed, good entertainment, good value events, and we've achieved that just by the car numbers that we've had.
2 big days of racing schedule: Saturday prologue, the Hards Transport Top 10 shootout, and the Dash for Cash. Sunday, 6 very tough laps, 71 kilometres in length. The full throttle Pine breaks will stretch the crews and their machines to the absolute maximum. Each run including a pass through the natural theatre of the Teagle Excavations quarry. Plenty of twists and turns, high rev straights, and a number of suspension testing jumps. The well-supported classes looking to set themselves up with a clean, quick prologue. This short, sharp run super competitive for the strong field of pro lights. So much so, the top 7 places under 10 seconds apart. SA man Lindsay Foster with a big leap on the Teagle flyover on his way to the top spot. Luke Ursag in the Toyota-powered Matrix second, the Victorian Smith duo third. Big air for the Super 1650 frontrunner Daryl Smith. Just 2 seconds in it, but enough to take the top spot from the 282 of Tyson Proud. Travis Conrad on the pace, 4 minutes 57, good for third. Murray and Jake England taking the lone honours in the sportsman class with a quick run. Others running solo in the class, that of the Fox pairing, pushing the patrol hard, a clean and trouble-free lap. The bright orange Triton of Clossy and Stacey continuing to show pace in the performance 2-wheel drive category. Taking the prologue with a healthy margin. For second and third places, under half a second, separating the 544 of Smith and the DeVito Anderson pairing. Some great series-long tussles have developed in the extreme 4-wheel drive class. The Hall and Sage 810 Patrol pushing and rewarded with a 26-second margin. Owen Ward grabbing second with the Narva-sponsored Mar Hose combination settling into third. Always very spectacular, with a field including Gartner, Brown and Robertson, the extreme 4-wheel drive class sure to again put on a great show. Gartner did not disappoint, a huge run, pushing hard and grabbing the top spot. In the process, he would secure 10th outright and a place in the shootout. Robertson in the Mickelfab Raptor a comfortable second. Queensland's Jamie Knight taking third. The shock news, the absence of the 442 Danny Brown machine, a problem with the truck not finishing the run and needing to be seeded for the race.
We went out, prologue reconnaissance, and had a bit of a misfire, so we brought it in, changed a few plugs over, went out again in prologue and got to the first corner, and it was just, we were going to do some damage to the engine, so we shut it down and came in. Again, we threw everything we had at it, all our spare parts, and it seemed to have fixed itself.
With a 23-strong pro buggy field, the action was absolutely red hot from the drop of the flag. With the shootout to come, a place in the top 10, the aim for the Cruise. At prologue's end, both Havey brothers securing their spots. Last year's race winner Hansen, another in the 10. Rockcliffe Turnbull and Andy Brown pushing hard, rewarded with 7th, 6th and 5th quickest. The Western Bishop pairing taking the prologue honours, young gun Jack Rhodes and Mark Burrows in the top 5. All crews now ready for a big crack at the Hards Transport Top 10 shootout. Stick around. After the break, all the action from the 10 quickest, and we go racing on round 4 of the ARB Australian Off-Road Racing Series. This is the Teagle Excavations ARB Pines Enduro. Back soon. As the fastest 10 crews ready themselves for a crack at the top 10 shootout, dramas for Hansen. After setting the 8th quickest in prologue, he will be a no-show due to issues with his machine. Gartner pushing the 410 truck hard and grabbing 8th. Turnbull, although running 4 seconds quicker than his prologue, he'll drop a spot to 7th. The Havey brothers 5th and 6th, and with section 1 start, a 2 at a time affair, the boys will line up side by side.
Yeah, I can't believe it, mate. We come here all this way here, we've got to start side by side with our brother, so that's pretty incredible. But yeah, that's how it goes. I think it's probably a good thing because we know how each other drive, which will be good, so I'm looking forward to a bit of a challenge.
Rockcliffe and Brown, the big movers, 4th and 3rd respectively. Brown very pleased.
Yeah, I was very happy today. Yeah, we got I think in 5th in the prologue and in 3rd in the shootout, thanks to a couple not finishing, so which was really good. Very happy with it.
More drama, this time Jack Rhodes rolling the 91 car, thankfully only minor damage and okay to start the race proper. In complete contrast, a great job by Chris Weston, a super quick run just off the #1 spot by less than 2/100ths of a second.
Oh mate, to get picked by Mark Burrows is pretty good. He's a true legend, and like ever since I was a kid I watched him sort of racing and stuff, so for me to start off with him tomorrow, it's a big deal, so I'll just try my best, and if I can keep his lights in view, then that'll be the goal, and just have a heap of fun. It'll be awesome.
Hards Transport Top 10 winner Mark Burrows with a good day's work.
We did. We've had a real good start. We had a bit of a look at the prologue and thought it's going to be a bit skatey in a few spots down along the railway line, which it normally is with a shower of rain. So we just took it easy over that in the prologue, and then the weather fined up, sun come out, and in the top 10 shootout we were able to really let it have it and got the pole position, so we're real happy.
Missing from the top 10, ARB Series leader Glenn Owen, starting back in 12th place, all part of his plan.
We've got a bit of a strategy we're playing with this weekend. It's not really about protecting points. We just want to start back and watch the guys clear the track a little bit because it's very slippery first up in the morning. but let's see where we are at the end of the second lap. We're going to start chasing them down.
Rounding off a very entertaining day, the multi-car start Dash for Cash. Hards transport dollars again up for grabs, excluding the top 10 runners, the fastest 4 cars in each class, door handle to door handle. Race day and straight to business for the crews. 6 grueling laps, 3 sections of 2 runs each, 30 minutes of service time in between. As predicted, massive battles developing out front. Hansen on a charge after starting from 9th place. Having overtaken several cars and grabbing spots, a puncture would steal his glory. Pitting between laps for the change, dropping him back to 6th. Jack Rhodes another on a hot pace and recovering from his prologue roll, pushing the 91 machine up to 5th place. From the green light, Weston and Burrows absolutely on it. Dicing across the 2 laps and swapping positions on several occasions. This is a great example of just how good the racing can be on this event. Weston 2 good laps, sitting in 4th. Not so good for Burrows though, his race over with water pump issues. Local Gary Turnbull with good speed, 3rd place after a tough section. Taking the lead, Andy Brown on a mission. 2 very quick laps, the second including joining Weston on this high-speed overshoot. Recovering well and pushing on. Brown the only one of the front runners to better his time on the second pass. After taking the family honours off the start line, Aaron Habe put in a huge effort across lap 1. Fastest on the course and looking the goods. Unfortunately though, this is a super tough race, especially on the engines. Aaron out. More dramas at the pointy end. ARB series leader Glenn Owen, another sideline with engine failure. Greg Gartner and Andy Ryan joining the retirement list, both also having motor problems. On the plus side, Rockcliffe and his 22 machine with a couple of clean runs and staying in the top 10. Danny Brown, trouble-free laps and making his way up the standings, 7th outright in Section 1. The second section, 2 grueling laps, Hansen pushing hard. Quickest and making back valuable time, now sitting in 4th, well within striking distance. Chris Weston having a ball, third quickest. However, a transmission problem has developed. No third gear. This will be an issue for the final section. Andy Brown and Carl Havey have traded places at the top. Carl now holding a 47-second advantage. Queensland's Dan Bonner quietly going about the business of setting consistent lap times. 2 sections completed, slotting the 9:54 machine into 5th place. Rockcliffe and Danny Brown also finishing this section in for service 6th and 7th respectively. Just 2 laps remaining to decide the 2013 winner. 140 Ks of tough racing action to come. Just 2 laps remaining of this super tough event. The track continuing to take its toll on both the crews and their machinery. Of the 62 teams starting the event, just 29 will head out on the remaining section. As we've experienced across this ARB series, the class battles have been tough, well thought out affairs. This weekend, little different. The extreme 4-wheel drive class, a very good example. Close lap times for the first and second placed runners, each of the respective crews having a drama lap and losing plenty of time. At event's end, Ma and Hose in the Nava Patrol taking the points. Ward and Allison, the 832 Nissan, second. With just 1 lap completed, third place points to the Hall and Sage team. Just 2 finishes in the performance 2-wheel drive class. The very experienced Bernie Clossy, again the man, taking the top spot. Second place, Wynett and Hardy. Lone runner in the production class, Andy Fox toughed it out to complete all but 1 of the laps. Series points in the bag. Others with the class all to themselves, sportsman buggy runners Murray and Jake England, doing what many could not. All laps completed, a big job in this small-engined machine. Leading from start to finish and fastest on all but 1 lap. Daryl Smith again proving his speed and reliability. The number 201 Super 1650 doing the job, the crew expertly managing this very difficult event. Second place to Tyson Proud and his Rivmaster Aussie. A good job to keep the pressure on, running all 6 laps. Brett Price and Kerry Mason also finishing the full distance, taking the 3rd spot for their efforts. As the laps run down and the track roughs up, it almost plays into the hands of the extreme 2-wheel drive runners. These well-sorted units loving the tough conditions. The 439 night pairing and the 405 Grant combo having an event-long battle. Swapping lap times across the day, all runs completed by both crews. The Grants taking 2nd, with the Queensland night pairing 3rd place. Out front and pushing hard all day, Danny Brown and co-driver George Apted put in some blistering lap times. An issue on the fourth run slowing the 442 machine and costing several minutes. That aside, a very good event for these guys, top spot in the class and a very impressive 5th outright. The well-supported Pro Light division putting on a great race. The opening 2 laps, hammer and tong for McClelland and the 161 of Smith, just seconds apart on the opening section. Unfortunately, dramas for each spoiling what could have been. Smith out with an engine failure. McClelland and Mott a drama on the third, putting them out of contention for the win. That said, salvaging a good 2nd place in class and 10th outright. Millicent and Harness very consistent all day. Striking problems on a lap, however the time damage not too bad. Taking the top spot and the series points, a good day's work with 8th outright the bonus. 3rd place in the group going to the SA pairing of Ben Urseg and Bruce Waldron. Scene set for a full-on race to the finish. Just under a minute and a half covering the top 4 spots. After a brilliant run all weekend, bad luck would again strike Andy Brown. This time, transmission failure. A devastating blow after what could have been a brilliant result. Meantime, Hansen put in a blinder on the first of the 2 laps, clawing back 36 seconds to the leader, Carl Havey. His sub-38-minute run, the fastest of the day. However, that would be the only upside. A loose oil line leading to a terminal engine failure. Hansen's race, done. Single-seat man Rockcliffe, like many encountering a problem, his on lap 5 and costing a spot. Nevertheless, a fine effort across 6 very demanding laps. Well worth the trip across from Tasmania, a very deserving 7th outright. Almost unnoticed all day, but very consistent over the distance, the 74 machine and the crew of Adams and Cox, taking advantage of the various situations, putting in quick laps and grabbing a brilliant 6th outright. Off the back of a podium finish on the last round at Goondiwindi, Dan Bonner put in another front-running drive. One of the few teams to run trouble-free across the distance and rewarded handsomely for it. These guys are getting on the pace and staying there. Certainly ones to keep an eye out for in the future. With no third gear, it was always going to be a battle to maintain the front-running pace. For Weston and Bishop, a massive job over the last section, not only getting the machine to the finish, but staying in a podium spot in the process. This result has been a while coming, with problems here in past years.
Oh mate, it has. We've been looking forward to finish for so long because we've had a bit of bad luck along the way, and this event to be able to chase cars and get in nice and close with no dust, it just can't get any better. All the racing I've done, which is a few years, this is probably the best fun I've ever had this weekend. I had it all hanging out. I had to. And Carl Havey in front of me and Andy Brown there as well. 3 of us were like nose to tail, and Carl was laying blackies on the bitumen, and it was we were laughing inside the buggy. It was cool, but the best thing is the car made it home. The car just ran perfect.
Well and truly making a name for himself, young gun Jack Rhodes put together a very good event. Dramas early with a roll in the shootout, but then head down, 6 consistent laps and some super impressive times. In the end, getting the machine home under plenty of pressure from a tough track and a chasing pack.
Yeah, prologue we took it pretty easy, and then top 10 shootout we took it fairly, like went a bit harder and got caught out on one of the corners and rolled it and ended up on the train line, and recovery got us out and we were able to get back going again and start the next day. The track's unreal. For car-to-car racing, it's definitely like one of the best there is. It was a hard day, and the track got even harder by the end, but I guess that's what makes it a great race.
For winners Carl Havey and co-driver Brenton Galash, a brilliant display of quick controlled racing, the only crew to run all 6 laps under 40 minutes. This is a very tough place to keep your times fast lap after lap. To make the win sweeter still, this victory achieved with their in-house designed and built Element race car. This particular unit, new to 2013, with it only being debuted a few events back and still being developed.
We spent a fair bit of time, like Gundy, we did that 3 or 4 weeks ago and sorted a few bugs out, and Wainaka, we did that 2 weeks ago and sorted a few more bugs out and brought it down here and brought it home.
A very entertaining run with plenty of close battles right across the day.
Yeah, well, it started off with my brother. We had a battle there for about 1.5 laps, and he unfortunately had engine issues. And then Chrissy, we managed to tag along to him and catch up to Andy. So that was a good dice there for a long time. So good fun.
A fantastic result and a fitting end to the 4-round ARB Australian Off-Road Racing Series. In the coming weeks, keep an eye out for our Season in Review program. All the highlights from the rounds with the respective series winners crowned.